because it's a conference that may be a defining conference on whether we continue with the COP conferences or not. There were a lot of expectations in the COP conference. Specifically, we from developing countries who are much impacted by climate change, we expected climate financing to be the core issue of discussion. And indeed it was. But unfortunately, at the end of the conference, we from the developing countries who put up a very spirited fight, we were disappointed. We were asking for not less than $1.3 trillion per annum to be able to deal with the climate change issues and problems. We did not get. Instead, we were told we can only get $300 billion per annum, which is actually a drop in the ocean, and given the procedures and rules of accessing to that money, no developing country can get it. So we have been left alone, and as we proceed into the future, we have to look at what do we do as a country, as developing countries that are so much impacted with climate change. The second issue which was on the table for discussion was how we transit from fossil fuels to clean energy by the year 2050. That again didn't come to our expectation. The big brothers and sisters still believe that they need to continue with fossil fuel. And instead, they want us to pay for the pollution they continue through a new market called carbon markets or carbon trading. And this is an area I feel so strongly that we Rio as a country, look, we should be very, very careful. Because what transpired is that the developed countries which continue to pollute our environment have found a route where they want to say, as they continue to pollute, we in the third world continue to absorb their carbon dioxide or continue to clean their mess from the atmosphere. And that's how the carbon credits and carbon markets have come in. And what is interesting is that the easiest way, I think the prayer, the person who did the, and what is interesting is that the easiest way, I think the prayer, the person who did the prayer here and talked about what God did in the Garden of Eden, I think he said it clearly very well. So what they expect us is to continue to plant trees that will absorb the carbon dioxide that is emitted from their dirty factories and industries. And therefore, that becomes another bigger market, and we become the slaves. So we need, as a country, to think twice. Yeah, we have amended our Climate Change Act, and we have put there carbon markets, and regulations have also come out. But we must be careful, because many brokers are coming from Europe to Africa and telling us to plant trees. They are taking people's land and telling them to plant trees. And once you plant, the agreement is that it must stay for 30 years. And within that period, you'll do nothing. And you'll be paid very little money, because they are brokers. The Europeans themselves, the polluters, are the ones who will be getting the highest amount of money.